sugar. Oh, honey, honey, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you. Honey, oh, sugar, sugar, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you. I just can't believe the loveliness of loving you. I just can't believe it's true. I just can't believe the wonder of this feeling too. I just can't believe it's true. Ah, sugar. Oh, honey, honey, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you. Oh, honey, oh, sugar, sugar, you are my candy girl.
Okay, let's see if I can give you a step-by-step instruction on how to put your quilt together on the quilting frame. Alright, as you can see, I've already put my backing, pinned my backing to my frame. Up here, I did it on the top roller, and down here, I did the opposite side on the bottom roller. Alright, this has been all pulled nice and taut, and as I go along, I will be turning these rods, and as you can see, they lock into place as I go to quilt the top. So now I'm going to put the batting in, and I obviously have to stop the camera in order to do so. So I'll be right back. Okay, now I've started putting the batting in. It goes underneath the second roller, and kind of pull it up top to where it goes, all the way down, like that. Make it nice. Go all the way to the edge. Just double check that I've got it where I want it to go. Okay, there. And as you notice right here, I marked my center of my top quilt. So what I've also done is I marked the center of the bottom part of the quilt so that these two lines right here actually meet up with each other. And I did the same thing down here on the bottom part of the back. Alright, now I got to lay the quilt, which is right over there all crunched up on the couch, on top of here. And once again, I need two hands in order to do that. So I'll be right back. Alright, I've laid the top quilt on here. And as you notice here, this pin here marks the middle of my top quilt. And this little line here marks the middle of my, I don't even know what you call this thing. It's glued to my roll, my rod. So I'm going to go along and pin this all along the edge on both sides. And once I get it pinned, then we're going to start rolling it up as such, make it nice and tight. So I'll be back again. Okay, all of the top of my quilt is now pinned tightly all around the middle bar. So now what I do is I have to wind it all up, as you can see. Just keep winding it up. Now what I usually do when I wind it up, because I want it nice and taut, is I usually use two hands. I'll wind a little bit and then smooth it out some, make sure it's okay, wind a little bit, smooth it out. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So the next time you see it, it'll be all wound up on the middle roller. Be right back. Okay, I've pinned the top to the batting and the back, making sure that I remembered to line up the center with the center. So now I'm going to roll up. Well, first I guess I gotta loosen this. Roll this up tight so it's nice and taut. Okay, I think this is all done. And then this just flows. See what I was talking about? I wanted to make hearts or whatever, circles. It all is in, they say it's all in the wrist, so this is the rolling I was talking about and pinning. See, underneath here is where the back is, and then I just lay the batting underneath. Everything is nice and tight. So, and these are the fold-away legs I was telling you about. They just fold under, and this all comes apart. And these dials are actually for the sewing machine. When this roll here gets too big, then I can tilt it up or tilt it down to allow a little bit more space. Okay, let's see if I can explain this. All right, there's 3 bars. On the first bar, you pin the bottom of the backing. The top part goes here, and the bottom part goes here. Then you wind it all up and make it nice and taut. Okay, using these little levers here to pull it tight. Same thing with here. Get it all ready and use these little knobby things to make it tight. Then you put the backing on top of that, the batting on top of that, and just let it lay down loosely. Then you roll up the top of your quilt onto the middle one and roll it nice and tight. And then you just lay it on top here and then pin it. All right, so what I have here is here's my backing, here's my batting, and here's the top of my quilt. All right, so everything's all pinned and ready to go. So now I get my sewing machine ready. Now what I'll be doing here is just stitching. I'm just going to do stitch in the ditch on this quilt. The reason being is I've already done the decorative stitch on the other part. So let me just get this all lined up and started. Here we go. Now the biggest key is turning on the machine. That just always helps. This machine is just way too fast sometimes for me. Now the very first seam that I make, the top, that I do very slowly because 1, I'm uneducated, 2, I'm nervous, and 3, and most importantly, I don't know what I'm doing. Now Chuck wanted to somehow figure out a way to put little switches here to make the foot part actually run. But I'm not comfortable with that just yet because this is how I know how to sew, with my feet, not with my thumbs. So maybe later when I'm a little bit more advanced. Now, like I said, this normally goes faster, but I'm always slower with the very first seam because that's my starting point. And this machine is too fast. Here, finish doing my last seam, then I'll show you how to tighten it up and move along. Okay, now I've sewn the top stitch all the way across. I've moved my sewing machine out of the way, and I have to loosen my cogs, and then I start winding up the top of my quilt. Everything all lined up pretty. Now, when I was making the girls' bedspreads, it wasn't as wide, so I had more room to shove away my sewing machine. This, once again, I should have had Chuck make this a little bit longer to allow me enough room to get it out of my way. Because right now, as I'm winding, everything seems to be in the way. But, so, get this all wound up pretty. Nice and tight. Okay, lock it in. I'll make this nice and tight, lock it in, and make the bottom nice and tight, see, over here, and lock it in. So everything's nice and taut. Now I just go through and stitch in the ditch. Wish me luck. Okay, foot down. This is where you put the pedal